everyone, welcome back to the CodeIsha Training Center. So today we will discuss about the Salesforce Flow features, that is Screen Flow. Okay, so as per 30 days Salesforce feature series. Okay, so let's get into the main slides. So coming to the today, our agenda is for this session is introduction to Salesforce Flow, okay, and what is a screen flow and key features of that screen flow, and also components and how it works, okay, and business use cases, and we can also create one simple screen flow and benefits and best practices for this screen flow, okay, and also you will get assignment based on this topic, and finally summary wrap up with this. Okay, so let's get into the first one. Coming to the what is Salesforce Flow. Okay, so Salesforce Flow is a declarative automation tool that allows administrators and developers to automate business process without writing a piece of code. Okay, so and here's the types we have inside the Salesforce. Okay, like screen flow and record trigger flow and schedule flow and auto launch flow. Okay, and why we use these flows. Okay, so like reduce manual effort and improve efficiency, okay, and automate business processes and enhance user experience purpose, we can use these flows inside the Salesforce. Okay, so as of now we are discussing only one screen flow. Okay, in future we'll discuss about, in future sessions we are also discuss about the remaining flows. Okay, and coming to the what is a screen flow. So a screen flow is a type of Salesforce flow that provides a user interface to collect the information from the users and performance actions based on their inputs. Okay, so what is that? Screen flow is a user interface, okay, to collect the user informations, okay, from the users. And here's a key characteristics for this. Okay, so it interactive and user driven. Okay, and it displays the screens to users. Okay, and it collects the and validates the data from the users and performance actions in real time, and it can be embedded in lightning pages. Okay, and we can also embedded into the utility bar and experience cloud also. Okay, so up to here, okay, right? And coming to the next one, key features for this screen flow. So this screen flow is a key features is interactive screens and user input collection and dynamic navigation and conditional visibility, and also data validation and record creations, and also we can do record updates also. Okay, and integration with the Salesforce data and no code low code development. Okay, so for this we cannot write any piece of code for this screen flow. Okay, so we can create this user interface going with the graphical, okay, graphical help. And coming to the next one, here's a component for this screen flow. So coming to the screen element, so it displays information and captures the user input. Okay, and coming to the decision element, it evaluates conditions and directs the flow path. Okay, and here's the assignment flow. Okay, so it assigns the values to the variables. Okay, and get records element, we use these retrieving the records from the Salesforce database, and create records we can create with the these element like new records. Okay, and updating the records with help of the update records, and we also delete the records inside the Salesforce with help of the delete records. Okay, and coming to the next one, so how it works in Salesforce. So first user launches screen flow. Okay, and next screen is displayed and user enters the information based on our given that fields. Okay, and flow validates the inputs. Okay, so whether it is for that flow, screen flow, whatever we are given the required inputs, so it will check that validates or not. Okay, and then it will go into the business logics executes, and it will create it or update it based on that we are given it works, and then finally confirmation message displayed on that use screen flow. Okay, and let's see next. Here's these screen flow real world business use cases. So we can use these screen flow into the customer service request forms, and for employee onboarding, and for lead qualification processes, and opportunity creation assistance, and survey collections, and also we can use for approval request submission, and also guided sales processes. Okay, so these are all real time business use cases for this screen flow. And here's a demo scenario. Okay, so let's try to create this screen flow for the quick contact registrations with the name, email address, phone. Okay, and once we are submitted this data, we need to showcase the some simple message on that display is like successfully we are submitted, or successfully we are received your record. Okay, so let's try to create this screen flow for this requirement. Okay, so let's back into the our Salesforce org. So here's the gear icon is there, so click on that and click on the setup menu. So go to the quick find, we need to search for flows, so click on that. And here's we have the two buttons is there, and for we are creating now new, right? So click on the new, so it will open, so give a minute. And here's we have the flows types. Okay, so now we are going first screen flow, right? So let's click on that. So here's the screen flow canvas. Okay, flow canvas. Okay, and here's the, let's change this layout free form, from auto layout to free form. Okay, so see here's a list of the elements and the logics and the DML operations whatever we have to do inside this. Okay, so first of all what we need to do, first of all we need to add the user screen flow element, right? So here's the screen flow, let's add into the canvas. And here I'm giving the name. First of all I'm giving the name flow is quick quick sorry, I'm giving the quick contact registrations. Okay, like quick form. And here's a label name is there, it's done. Show header also there. Okay, so everything okay. So now I need to add the whatever need requirements for these display shows the data input values, input fields. Okay, so what is our requirement, we need captures the first name and the last name and the email address and the phone, right? So let's add into the one by one. First of all we need to search for text. Okay, input text, drag into the canvas. Okay, so here I'm giving the first name, and API automatically it reserves. Okay, so now again I'm adding one more input text for the last name, for the last name, and also it also reserve automatically API name based on the our name. Okay, so once these two done, and now I need to search for email for captures the email address data. Okay, here I am giving the email address. Okay, email address, and the label is email address. Okay, email address, and everything is done. And now I need to search for phone input type. So let's drag into the our screen flow canvas, and here I'm giving the phone just and the number, and here I'm going with the phone number. Okay, so up to everything okay, right? We are done whatever our requirement for the users captures the data. Okay, so first name and the last name and the email address and the phone, right? Yes, so I'm not given any requirement fields here. Okay, so let's try to make last name is required. Okay, so let's check box here required. Okay, so select whatever you need field, you need to click on that. Okay, and select the require if it is your requirement. Okay, or else keep it like this only. Okay, so see, when we add this require enable, so it shows the here red color. Okay, so let's see here it shows the red color. Okay, so up to everything okay, right? We are done screen. Okay, so next what we need to do, once the that user enters the data, what we need to do, creates the record, right? So once that user enters data and click on that button, so we need to create data, right? So which component, which element we need to create the record, we need to go with the create records, right? So let's drag and drop, and here I'm giving the create con record. Okay, and it will automatically goes from the record variables and one by one, and I'm searching for contact. Sorry, manually going and search for contact here. So we are creating the screen flow for the contact object, right? So for that we need to select here the contact. Okay, and we need to assign the values, screen flow values into the our object record API fields. Okay, so first API name is the list name and equal to, here's the screen flow components names is there. Okay, let's search for that. First of all, here's a quick screen flow name, and search for list name here is there. Okay, so select that, and then we have the three more, right? And the first name, first name equal to quick form and the first name, and the email address equal to email address, and coming to the final one more, email address value. Okay, and final one phone, right? Search for phone, I'm giving the mobile phone, and here quick find and the phone number. Okay, and here's the value, and let's done. So we are done too, right? So first is the screen done, and then creating the records done, and we need to add the, now we need to add the one more screen for display the message. Okay, so coming to the screen, and I'm giving the here screen is display. Okay, display message, and here also it will come, and see I'm here adding the for display text. Okay, to showcase the some message on that. Here I'm adding the, so thank you for submitting submitting your record. Okay, submitting your record. So I'm going with the board, and also I'm changing this color also. Here's the, I'm going with the green. Okay, once it is done, so let's click on done, and let's map it. And first we need to run user inputs, and then from here we need to create that records, and once created that records we need to display the some message for the users. Okay, so up to everything okay, right? And let's save it like quick contact form. Okay, and let's save it, and so it will take a time. So once it is done, so let's activate it, and let's try to debug it. Okay, run. Yeah, so here's the header for this form. Okay, so here I'm giving the test and here the test flow for quick. Okay, quick form, and here I'm giving the email address is test flow, sorry, test flow gmail.com. Okay, and here I'm going with the phone number. Okay, so once it is done, what we need to do, click on the, so once we click on that, so what will happen in the backend, it will create the one contact record, right? So let's click on the next, and it will created that record, and it will show is the what is that, thank you for submitting your record. So this is the final one, we are added the display message once it is created that record, right, for the end user. Okay, so let's click on the finish. Yep, so let's back into the our contact. So here's the contact object, and here see whatever we have created that record with the help of the flow, so it will shows here the details. Okay, so like flow, and the here's a mobile number and the email address, right? So up to everything okay, right? So let's try to create one more also. Okay, like John. Okay, and here I'm adding the Peter, and the email address is John, sorry, John 00 @gmail.com, and here I'm going with the phone number. Okay, so once it is done, click on the next. So what will happen, it will create the that record, and it will show is the thank you for submitting your record. Okay, so let's click on the finish, and let's back into the contact objects. Let's refresh it and see one more record is there, whatever we are given now. So John Peter, and the mobile number and the email address. Okay, so up to here everything okay, right? So let's back into the our slides. Okay, and next, here's the benefit when we use this screen flow in Salesforce org. So user friendly interface and no coding requirement for that. Okay, and it improves the data accuracy and faster business processes and better user adoption and reduce the manual work also, and flexible and scalable, and also easy maintenance. Okay, so here's the benefits when we use this screen flow feature in our Salesforce org. Okay, and coming to the best practices, so keep screens simple and initiative. Okay, so don't add any other unrelated things. Okay, so add only requirement things. Okay, and use meaningful labels and help text. Okay, so don't add any other like zigzag names or unnecessary names. Okay, so let's try to give the names meaningful, and the if anything required, let's add the help text also. Okay, and the validate user input. Okay, so when that user input some any fields or requirements, let's try to add the requirement. Okay, and avoid unnecessary screens. Okay, and follow naming conventions, and test all possible paths. Okay, and handle exceptions gracefully, optimize for performance. Okay, so here's the best practices for this screen flow, and here's a final summary. So we are done this session. Screen flow provides interactive user experiences, and users can enter data through guided screens. No code solutions for process this automation. Okay, and it supports record creations, updates, and business logics, and widely used for forms, widgets, and guided processes. Okay, so these are all summary based on today's topic. And so thank you everyone for watching this video. Okay, so I hope this video helpful for you on the Salesforce screen flow. Okay, so if it is helpful, so don't forget to the subscribe and share it with your friends, whoever the enthusiastic to learn Salesforce courses. Okay, so thank you everyone, thank you.